Take a stack of sources and extract the knowledge you need to be well-informed and fast. Today, we are digging into something absolutely fundamental for any successful South African business owner or investor. We're talking about how to turn that wealth you've built into secure wealth using, well, some pretty advanced trust structures. Okay,
Sure.
let's unpack this. If you are building a thriving business, you are, by definition, taking on risk. So the real question is, how do you manage that risk so your personal legacy isn't just wiped out by one professional disaster? And maybe even more importantly now, how do you future-proof that legacy against, all the complexities of our digital world?
Exactly. Our mission today is to give you a shortcut to understanding what experts are calling the asset protection fortress. It's a strategic trust company structure. And the whole point, the fundamental idea, is to separate ownership from operational risk. By the end of this deep dive, you'll get how to secure your hard-earned assets and protect what all the research points to as this very vulnerable online legacy.
That separation you mentioned sounds like the absolute key.
Yeah.
So let's start with the cornerstone. In the South African context, what exactly is a trust? Why does a business owner even need one before we get to all the digital stuff?
It's a really powerful legal arrangement. Essentially, you transfer assets to a group of people, the trustees, and they manage those assets for the benefit of whoever you choose, your beneficiaries. Why do it? Because it's designed to tackle that primary fear of every successful entrepreneur, which is, losing everything. The big benefits are immediate asset protection, long-term wealth preservation, and really crucial business succession planning.
But I think a lot of people assume their will, or maybe their insurance policies, have them covered. Why are South African entrepreneurs so exposed right now, even if they're really successful?
Yeah, the analysis points to three really specific danger zones. The first one is just owning valuable assets, your home, investment properties in your personal name. It's so common. The second is allowing your main trading company, the risk engine of your business, to also hold valuable assets, things like IP or just excess cash. And the third, which we see all the time, is the legal pressure to sign personal sureties for business debt.
Okay, let's pause on that one. For anyone listening who isn't a lawyer, what does signing a personal surety actually mean for them practically?
It's a huge deal. A personal surety is basically you, personally, guaranteeing a company loan or a lease. You're putting your own house, your car, your savings on the line if the business goes under. So if your company defaults, the bank doesn't just sue the company, they sue you. And that's exactly how business risk becomes personal financial ruin almost overnight.
Wow. And the consequence of that kind of exposure, it sounds frighteningly quick.
It is. A single lawsuit, a liquidation, even a long, drawn-out SARS audit can come after your personal assets if they aren't properly ring-fenced. If those assets aren't in a legally separate structure, they are immediately vulnerable.
Which brings us right to this asset protection fortress. So what's the mechanism? How does it legally separate the risk from the reward?
The mechanism is all about strategic separation. So think of your trading company as the race car.
Okay.
It's high performance, it's taking big risks out on the track, and, it might crash. The goal is to make that race car asset light. All risk, no assets. The trust, on the other hand, that's the secure garage. It owns all the valuable things, the property, the wealth you've built up, but it never, ever goes onto the track.
I like that analogy, the garage and the race car.
Exactly. And what that achieves is profound. It shields your family's wealth from business lawsuits. It protects your personal assets, and it guarantees continuity. If the company takes a massive hit, the foundation of your family's wealth is still totally secure inside that trust.
That structural benefit is really clear. But I do hear from listeners that trust can be complicated, may be expensive. Is there a catch? Aren't they notoriously difficult to manage, especially when it comes to tax?
That's a common misconception, and it's why you need some specialized advice, but the core function is actually very efficient. So let's talk about the practical side, like SARS compliance. It's true that income just left inside the trust is taxed at a flat rate of 45%, which is high, but, and this is the key, this is where the strategic planning comes in. Any income that you distribute to beneficiaries within the tax year is taxed at their personal tax rates. So since beneficiaries, maybe your kids, often have lower incomes, you can use distributions to achieve massive tax efficiency.
So the goal isn't just to hoard money in the trust, but to use it as an efficient distributor of wealth. What about capital gains tax?
Right. Trusts are subject to capital gains tax, yes, at an effective rate of 36%. And while that rate seems high, you have to look at the bigger picture. The main benefit isn't about short-term tax avoidance. It's the long-term, much bigger win of, say, reducing estate duty and, most importantly, securing the assets against any legal risk in the first place. That security is worth so much more.
Okay, so security and compliance really do go hand in hand. What's required in South Africa to make sure this whole structure is, legit? Who are the key players?
You have the founder who sets it all up, the beneficiaries who get the benefits, and the trustees who manage everything. But crucially, South African law requires family trusts to appoint at least one independent trustee. This person can't be related to you or the beneficiaries, and their role is absolutely essential to ensure it's all managed properly and legally so the structure can't just be seen as a sham to avoid liability.
So the fortress is built, the compliance is checked. But even with this incredibly robust structure for, say, property and business assets, you're saying modern entrepreneurs are still exposed in a place they probably never even think to look.
That's the modern vulnerability. The strategy that's built only on physical assets is now, well, it's fundamentally incomplete. We have to acknowledge that our digital existence, our data, our accounts, all that value stored online, it often defines our businesses now, and it has immense personal worth. If you ignore it, the entire value can just vanish the moment you're gone or incapacitated.
So what does this all mean, really? What kind of digital assets are we talking about that people just completely underestimate?
You can break it down into three main categories. First, you've got your financial digital assets. That's everything from crypto like Bitcoin or Ethereum to your online investment accounts, PayPal balances, even valuable airline miles. Second, business digital assets. For many businesses, this is the core of their value. Your domain name, some are worth millions, your customer databases, your email lists, those valuable social media accounts.
And then there's the stuff that you just can't buy back, the irreplaceable things.
Exactly. The personal digital assets. These have such profound sentimental value. Think about decades of photos stored in the cloud, family emails, digital music libraries. If you don't have a plan for these, you're basically leaving their fate up to the terms of service of a tech company in Silicon Valley.
The research you mentioned had a really clear, kind of sobering example of this, the case of Thomas.
Yeah, the story of Thomas is a perfect illustration of what we call the access problem. So, Thomas was very security conscious. He used really complex passwords, two-factor authentication for everything. When he died unexpectedly, his own security measures became these impossible barriers for his wife, Margaret.
So she was just locked out of everything.
Completely. She couldn't get years of family photos off his encrypted devices. But the financial hit was just devastating. He had a significant amount of cryptocurrency stored on a hardware wallet. It was totally inaccessible because the PIN died with him. She lost an estimated, get this, 100,000 pounds in Bitcoin, a massive asset just gone because the access key wasn't secured in a legal framework.
Wait, 100,000 pounds?
Yeah.
Just because of a forgotten PIN?
Yeah.
That completely changes how you think about your own passwords.
And
That's staggering.
Yeah, it is. And it goes beyond just access. There's also the value destruction problem. Digital assets are dynamic. They need active management. If a business domain name expires because of probate delays, it gets snapped up by speculators instantly. Volatile crypto needs quick decisions. These assets can't wait months for the legal system to catch up. And then finally, there's the platform policy problem. A lot of people think they're covered because they've set up Google's inactive account manager or a Facebook legacy contact. The analysis shows this just isn't enough. Policies change all the time. They only cover one specific platform, and they don't give your family the legal authority they need.
That timing issue, the need for speed, that seems to be where a trust is just so much better than a traditional will for these kinds of assets.
It's night and day. A will can face months, sometimes a year, of probate levels. For a digital asset, that's a death sentence. A trust activates immediately upon a triggering event, like death or incapacity. It allows the trustees to act right away. And there's another thing, privacy. A will becomes a public document. That means the details of your assets, like a large crypto portfolio, become public knowledge. A trust deed stays private, which is a huge security benefit for your family.
And the incapacity planning side is massive for a business owner, right? A will is useless if you're alive but can't make decisions.
Exactly. A will only deals with death. A trust deals with life, death, and incapacitation. It ensures your digital business, your online finances, continue to be managed if you're temporarily unable to do it yourself.
Okay, so we've established the need and the benefit is clear. What has to be in a digital asset trust to make it actually work? What are the practical steps someone listening needs to take?
There are three core components. First, you need a comprehensive digital asset inventory. This means listing every single account. The platform, username, recovery info, its 2FA status, and how important it is. Second, you have to secure the access credentials. The best way is to use a password manager and then make sure the master password is securely and legally shared with your trustees through a documented protocol. And third, and this is so important, you need specific instructions. Don't leave it to chance. Do you want social media deleted or memorialized? Should crypto be sold immediately or held for your kids? These decisions have to be spelled out clearly in the trust deed.
This level of detail, I mean, it's combining estate law, technology, tax. This is clearly not a DIY project. This sounds like where specialized consultation becomes non-negotiable.
It really is. A specialist trust consultant brings that expertise from all those different fields. They provide the legal muscle, what we call the authorization language, in the trust deed. That's what you need to compel a resistant tech platform to grant access.
And they bring the technical know-how, too.
Yes. They understand how cryptocurrency works, how to navigate 2FA, how to recover access, and they make sure the whole digital strategy fits perfectly with your broader tax and estate planning. It completes the fortress.
And just like you said, a fortress checkup for business assets. This needs ongoing maintenance. Technology changes so fast.
Yeah, that's the value of an ongoing relationship. Your digital life isn't static. A consultant supports you with annual reviews, they make sure you're compliant with SARS and CIPC, and they adapt the trust as your life changes. It's really about peace of mind.
This has been such a necessary and detailed look at this. So for our listener, if they're a business owner in South Africa, they're generating income, building assets, and they know they need this level of protection.
Right.
From that initial risk assessment right through to a full fortress setup, physical and digital, where can they get this kind of specialized guidance?
Well, the principles we've been discussing are exactly what experts in this field focus on. Limke Sturman is a dedicated trust consultant and asset protection specialist who focuses specifically on this, on empowering business owners to separate that risk and protect their wealth. She provides very tailored, very practical solutions for navigating all this legal and digital complexity.
So if you're ready to really identify your personal and business risks, see if a trust is right for you, and understand how to properly separate ownership from liability. You can find more information about that risk analysis and the full trust setup at www.limkesturman.com.
And the final takeaway is this. The real security of a trust structure is twofold. It protects your physical wealth from business risk through legal separation. And at the same time, it gives you and your family clear, immediate legal control over your modern digital life.
And here's the provocative closing thought to leave you with. That story about Thomas and the lost crypto, it isn't just about money. It's about control. When you fail to make a formal plan, you're leaving your most valuable assets and your irreplaceable memories, not to your family, but to platform default or to just legal limbo. So, are you relying on the platform's ever-changing policy or on your own clear, legally defined authority to protect your legacy? So what does this all mean? Time to review your structure.